Okay, recording this video on Tuesday, the 18th of March 2025, just gone 7:45 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So we're waiting for the Fed announcement tomorrow. It's probably going to cause a lot of volatility, but I'm hoping once that volatility is done, we'll get some clear sailing and hopefully we'll rally from there. But in the meantime, I thought I'd put out a video on TradeStation EasyLanguage and AI. This is a little bit of a project I've been working on for the last year or so, trying to find out which of the AI models out there work best for coding EasyLanguage. For those who don't know, TradeStation has an inbuilt coding language called EasyLanguage. It's got to be over 25 years old. When it first came out, it was absolutely groundbreaking because it allowed retail traders to code their own indicators and systems. Since then, it has been copied. Multicharts uses that. A variation, Ninja Script, written in C++, exists. We've also got PineScript within TradingView. So there are some other competing languages out there. Plus, the large languages like Python can be used to code systems. But it's still a pretty good language. I like it because it's relatively easy to code, and you can use it to access all of the functions and features of TradeStation. So it's pretty useful. But if you're not familiar with it, there's a steep learning curve to generating indicators and systems with it. So the question is, can AI help us? And finally, I think we have an answer because I've tested now about 10 different AI options and we have a winner, something that is doing a pretty good job of coding in EasyLanguage with the minimum number of mistakes. So the models that I've looked at over the last year or so include ChatGPT, obviously, Claude, which is the Anthropic model. We got the Google models, Gemini and Notebook LM, and Grok, which is the Twitter X version of AI. And there are also variations of those. So what you can do is you can use the models straight out of the box, or you can use the deep research, deep think options for each of those models. And in addition, you can also upload EasyLanguage documentation. So for example, you could upload the EasyLanguage reference guide, the EasyLanguage essentials, the starter EasyLanguage guide. All of these are pretty big, 8.1 megabytes, 7.1 megabytes, about how to code with EasyLanguage and giving examples of code in EasyLanguage. For the most part, the problem that you come across is that the models do generate code, but it's a hybrid code, some EasyLanguage and some Python script. It's not pure TradeStation EasyLanguage. And then troubleshooting the code, getting it to verify and so on is problematic and really is more trouble than it's worth. Until about a month ago when we had the latest version of Claude come out, 3.7 Sonnet. This out of the box, without using the EasyLanguage documentation or the deep research options, seems to work extremely well generating EasyLanguage. I was surprised. I didn't expect that of a model that is typically very good at generating written language, but it was actually excellent at generating EasyLanguage. It's not perfect, but it's extremely close, and then you can use the model itself to troubleshoot verification errors that you get in the EasyLanguage editor. So I'm going to show you an example of using Claude to generate some indicator code, but there are probably 5 different ways you can use an AI model to help you with EasyLanguage. The first one is explaining snippets of code line by line or block by block. The models are very good at doing this, explaining code step by step, and if you need more explanation, the models will just keep going until they explain it in a way that's simple enough to understand. The second use case is debugging, improving, or commenting code. One of the things I'm not very good at doing is commenting my code so that when it is shared, people understand what each of the blocks of code are doing. So the AI models can generate those comments for code automatically and add them in. So I find that invaluable. The third use case is converting other code to EasyLanguage. I haven't specifically tried this, but it's something that's on the agenda to tackle in the next couple of months. And then for subscribers of the better indicators in TradeStation, there is open code available that you can copy paste and edit. If you wanted to customize that code, Claude model would probably do a pretty good. And then lastly, generating code from fresh for either indicators or systems. And that's what I'm going to show you next. So we're inside Claude here, and this is the indicator that I asked Claude to generate the other day. I wanted an indicator that calculates the average volume traded for each hour of the trading day. So for example, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The average should be over all of the bars in the chart from the very first one all the way to the current bar, and it should be a histogram with vertical bars for the average number of contracts traded. So Claude will then go ahead and generate in a window beside this the code for this indicator. You can then copy that code and paste it into the EasyLanguage editor and see what it does. Hopefully it verifies. I'll show you that in a second. That first version wasn't quite what I wanted, so then I wanted it to modify. It needs to be 24 hours or the maximum traded during a day and night session, because it was only showing me during the day session, so it had a variation that it generated. That wasn't quite right either. But then when I imported that code, I got an error, and I just told Claude I have an error with the first array declaration in the variables, and it went and fixed that for me, showed me the change that it had made. And then there were various improvements I wanted to make to the code. Drawing histogram bars wasn't necessary. I just need the output plotted, so I can select the histogram as an option in the indicator settings. It was able to do that, no problems. That's the statements down here at the bottom of the code here. And then it generated one for each hour, and that obviously isn't what I wanted either. So I just came back to it and said, rather than 24 plot statements, just plot the values for the current hour we're in. And I think that was the final version that I ended up using here. Ended up being a very elegant piece of code using arrays and iterating through the arrays in order to calculate the average volume per hour. So each of those versions of code are copied into the TradeStation development environment, and that's what this looks like here. And then you hit the verify button at the top here, and it verifies the code. I had to manually change one thing, which was the coloring for the histogram bars, but apart from that the code was perfect and very elegant. And so let's go look at this on TradeStation to see what it looks like. What I was trying to understand was what the average traded volume was for each of our 15 futures markets that we cover, because from time to time I get questions from traders saying, I don't live in the US, I can't trade the Chicago time zone, what would you suggest I trade? And this histogram shows you which of the futures contracts are most active at a particular time of day. So we have here with the E-mini, this is the 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. windows, and you can see most of the futures markets are most active in those first 3 hours of the day, 8:30 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. However, the Forex markets are more active in the London time zone, because London traditionally is the center of Forex. And so you can see that the histograms for the Euro, British Pound, Japanese Yen, and Aussie dollar down here, there's quite a lot of activity for the several hours before the open of the US markets when the E-mini really gets trading. And then interestingly, crude trades pretty well throughout the whole day. You can see there, that's the 9 a.m. vertical line. Throughout the day, crude is pretty active, as is natural gas. And then you've got Bitcoin, which is trading here throughout the whole day. So those histogram lines are pretty level throughout that time period, whereas you have real drop-offs in activity in the E-mini, and then it spikes at the end of the day. So that was the idea, the indicator that I was trying to generate. And yeah, lo and behold, the Claude AI model was pretty good, and it took me less than 20 minutes or so in order to get that indicator coded up. So pretty good result there. Just as a final follow-up, once the code was done, I asked Claude to explain the code, and it just went through sequentially, line by line, explaining how the code was working. So super helpful for helping you edit code, troubleshoot code, and if you want to learn EasyLanguage or understand how code is working, incredibly helpful there. There we go. That's my recommendation. Claude 3.7 Sonnet is the place to start your journey if you're interested in coding in EasyLanguage. So if you're using AI to write code for any of the trading platforms, your feedback and experiences would be very valuable. So please leave a comment below this video. That'd be great. And hope your trading is going well, and looking forward to Fed Day tomorrow.